Hello, this is Brother Jeff Fowler from the Pleasant Hill Institute of Religion, along with my friend Harold. How's it going, Harold? Oh, great. Hey, now that we have your attention, we're here to help prepare you and your students for the end of semester assessment. And the purpose of this video is to explain not only the purpose behind it, but how you can best prepare your students, as well as explain quickly the 3 ways that you could administer the assessment this semester. So number 1, what is the purpose? Why are we spending time taking this assessment at the end of every semester? It is not an attempt to keep youth from attending BYU or even graduating from seminary. The purpose of the assessment is to deepen their understanding of and conversion to the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's really what it is. It's a learning tool. It's to help youth understand or see where they are at in their own gospel learning. And so when the assessment is administered, youth should attempt to take the assessment without any help or aids while they are with you in a class session. In fact, the way you would administer this assessment, ideally, is A, help them prepare by providing some sort of review day or material that they can take home, and I'll show you how to do that. B, spending one class period where the students actually take the assessment while they are with you in class. This is an individual effort. They do it one by one on their own, while they are with you in class with no aids, no scriptures, no friends, etc., helping them out. Unless they have some learning needs, and at that point you can provide some structure for them, but not to take away the challenge of them doing it on their own. They really should, as best as they can, do it on their own. And then 3, you provide another day for a review of the assessment. So that's in a nutshell how you administer the assessment. How can you help prepare your students for it? Well, one of the best ways to do it is to pull up the study guide, and I'll show you where to find that right now. If you open up a web browser and go to seminary.lds.org, you should see, make this a little bit bigger, a manuals link up here towards the top of the page. Click on that link and it will take you to all of the online curriculum materials for every seminary course of study. And you'll see that to the right of the actual student and teacher manuals are the scriptures, and the second link is usually the learning assessments. So click on that link when you arrive. And here you'll see not only how to help your students improve their experience of taking the assessment, but there's a best practices video you can watch, some training and other resources, even a section for students with disabilities. And again, if you have some of those students in your class, I encourage you to take a moment and read through that article. It's powerful in its suggestions and ways to help them feel and be successful without diluting really the experience for them. And if you scroll down further, you'll see that here are the study guides for every semester of seminary that you would teach. So if I was teaching 1 Nephi 1 through Alma 16, I could just click the link here. It would open up the study guide. I believe it's 3 pages printed. And there are several ways that I could share this with my students. I could copy the link up here and send it to them via email or text using the WISE application or program. I could print it out and hand them a paper copy in class. I could even maybe take part of a day in class to review these sections. And there's 3 sections of the study guide. There are doctrinal mastery references that will be brought up in some way, shape, or form on the assessment that you'd want to review and make sure your students were comfortable with those. You'll see there's about half of them there, I think, for the Book of Mormon year. There are context and content questions that will help cement your students' understanding of what the scriptures actually taught during that course, during the course of the semester. And finally, there is a doctrines and principles section of the study guide that help prepare your students to answer questions related to the doctrines or principles that were taught in the scriptures during the course of study. They aren't broken up on the assessment into these three different groups. They're just positioned this way in the study guide to help your students see the patterns and understand what's coming up on the assessment. They'll be mixed up on the assessment. And like in years past, it's a multiple choice. There are 3 options, and students choose the best option for most of the questions. There's also an essay portion in the back. It's actually, they call it an explained doctrine question. And this year, at least for the Book of Mormon year, there are 4 questions they're asked to answer. So this is how you can help students prepare for the assessment. The best thing, of course, is just from the beginning, be a consistent teacher. If you're teaching from the scriptures and you're teaching using the provided curriculum, you will be just fine and your students will be just fine. So let's talk about the different ways that you can administer the assessment. The first is what we call a paper only. It's the traditional method. This one would require you to print out paper answer sheets and questions and the review questions for each student, so that they can take the assessment and then review and check some of their work. The second option is called the hybrid option. This is where you do print out a lot of the same materials that you would for the paper-only section. The difference is that after the students take the assessment, you would use your smartphone or tablet or an app on that device to take a picture of the completed student answer sheet, which would then grade it automatically and add it to your grade book. In the paper-only scenario, you have to do all of those steps manually, grading it and adding it to your grade book. And finally, this semester, there is an online-only option, which you'll notice that the hybrid and online-only option use the same website, la.ldschurch.org. Here, the requirements are that every student needs to have their own LDS account, username, and password, and they need to have their own device that they can use to take the assessment. It could be a smartphone. It works on tablets. It works on laptops. If not all your students have a device, but if you have a couple extra laptops or that can be brought in, that's one way that your students could take the online assessment. So these are the 3 options. Oh, and the beautiful thing is once they take the assessment, on the day that they take it, they'll get a grade, and that grade will be put in their grade book right away. It's a great way to do it. In fact, I think the church is moving in this direction to have us all use online-only assessments. But these are the 3 options, and if you click on the next couple of videos, you can watch how to administer each of these, whatever works best for you and your students. Like and subscribe. See you soon.